I'm back today to do my favorites. My cat does not enjoy that I have a different setup today. I decided I wanted to stand, so I'm in my bedroom, and he is right behind me being a real pill. I have a cat who is, I guess he's in my favorites always, but dang, he is frustrating. So hopefully we can get through this. So, on to the favorites. I have a few beauty things. I don't actually have a lot of physical things to show. I have just some things that I'm looking forward to and all of that. So we'll get to that in a second. My very first thing, which literally I never hear people talk about on YouTube, but if you know me, you know that I have dry skin and that I love Curel. I love Curel, specifically the Ultra Healing one. This is one that I use. I guess it was technically like a travel size. I just buy these on Amazon and use them as hand lotions. I bring them with me to work and everything. I love that it isn't greasy, it doesn't have a scent, and it's just very hydrating without being gross. And we also use the body lotion of this version as well. The Ultra Healing is what I buy. I literally buy it all year round. I've got dry skin, I need hydration even in the summer months. The next thing I'm going to say will be, well, I can just take what's on top, is my Alchemist, right? Alchemist Holographic Palette from Kat Von D. This is not going to be able to show, it's really hard to see. I guess I could show the back of it. It's so cool. It's got a little mirror. I don't want to show, blind everybody. And then it's got the 4 pans of holographic shadows. My favorite is actually the green. I'm wearing it today on the inner corner of my eye, but I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. My lighting is kind of weird today because it's snowing decently heavily today, so I've got a lot of brightness out there. But the only criticism I've heard of this is that people thought this was going to be bigger. It's only about, you know, hand size, I guess. Bigger than my palm, but I just don't think that's a big deal. I think when you're shopping, you can see the sizes of things. If you pay attention to social media, you can see the size of this. I don't think that's a big deal. And a lot of people are like, well, why wouldn't you have pans bigger for highlights? But it's not necessarily meant for only face highlight. And I don't know how much you're actually going to... I don't think the average consumer is going to use up these entire pans. They're like eyeshadow sized. So the size is fine for me. The next thing is, this is old. It's the Jaclyn Hill Becca, I'm sorry I just shook the whole camera setup, palette. I'm not sure what this was even called. Champagne Glow palette, I guess. This was out last year, but I have been going crazy for it. So it has Pearl, Champagne Pop, and this is Blushed Copper, I believe. Yeah, Blushed Copper. I use this one more as like a blush topper, and I don't dig into it very often, but almost every day for like over a month I've been mixing these two together for my highlight, and I feel like, again, I'm probably not going to be able to show it very well, but it's so good. And I kind of wish that this palette or that Becca would do things like this more often, because while the big palettes are really beautiful, or not the big palettes, but the big pans are really beautiful, it's really, really nice if you can dip in and kind of mix things around. So I just find that to be really nice. So yeah, this was good, and I think I got this 10% off from Sephora, so I paid like $30 for this. Good investment. The other thing, let's do makeup and then we'll do more body, I guess. My favorite thing, I watched a Zoella tutorial with the Kylie Jenner eyeshadow palette, and I know everybody's been going crazy for that. I'm just not that interested. I don't want to compete for makeup, so I just want to be able to like go and buy things. I also don't want my phone to go off during the middle of the video. Yeah, so I don't want to like have to rush and be like, oh, I didn't get the lip paint that I wanted, or I didn't get the eyeshadow palette that I want, and I just don't care enough about makeup to do that. I love makeup, don't get me wrong, but I don't want to compete. I just want to be able to go buy. I just feel like I'm not in the right age demographic for that. So I saw Zoella do a really, really pretty like gold and kind of burgundy brown eye, and so what I have been using and loving is my Old Faithful chocolate bar palette with this color, well, both of these colors, they're some of my favorites, Creme Brulee and Hazelnut. I've been using those two, and I have been mixing them with the Modern Renaissance palette. Everybody loves this palette, right? I freaking love this palette. I use the red ochre, that's my very favorite color, and then I use the Venetian red and Love Letter colors to kind of get that burgundy brown look, and it's been really, really pretty, and I've worn that a few times, and I very rarely repeat eyeshadow, so that has been my fave kind of eyeshadow combo. And then I guess like one of my other favorites, random favorites, was my advent calendar that I got to that I received, I guess, for free via competition by Fortune Cookie Soaps. I just had such a blast, and my very favorite product actually has been their deep conditioner. This is in the scent Bravery, and I don't believe you can't buy this, but there's other fragrances. This one smells like fruity candy kind of. It's so nice, but you can see the consistency of it. Hopefully you can see, I'm trying to check, and it kind of looks like solidified coconut oil. You can kind of see how much I've used too. I've only used I've used it 3 or 4 times, and I thought it was going to be rough, because when you pull it out, and like even when you try to spread it on your hands, it feels like you're spreading like a thick, it's not greasy like coconut oil, but it feels like you're spreading that, and I was like, I don't want that on my hair, but I was like, I'll just go for it. It was the weekend, and it's so nice, and it washes out really nicely. I used it today. I just really love this, and I will definitely repurchase these. I think it's great to support little independent shops, and especially when they have good products, and they do different themes. So if you're into different kind of themes, I think they did a Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe theme. They've done trolls. They've done just like different things like that. I buy into stuff like that, and I think that it would be up a lot of people's streets. So my favorite books, I guess I can pull them up. I don't actually have physical copies of these. My favorite books that I read this month, or December, was Salt to the Sea. I just pulled up a picture of it. I did a review on that 2 videos ago, and I really, really enjoyed it. World War II time period and a maritime disaster. That'll be my description. And then my thing that I've kind of decided to do every year, it's like my own personal tradition, this was the 3rd year, is I listened to A Christmas Carol read by Tim Curry. It's so good. I got it for free on Audible, just like a promotion they were doing, but I would pay for it. It's really good, and Tim Curry is great. He actually, he reads the series of Unfortunate Events, some of them, not all. But yeah, he read that series as well, and I just love audiobooks, and he's a fantastic voice reader. I think that you'd probably guess that if you have ever seen him in any roles, if you know who Tim Curry is. I don't edit, so I can't like pop up a little picture of him here, but I feel like most of us who have seen like Home Alone 2, Clue, like those movies, we know who Tim Curry is. Rocky Horror Picture Show, there's a lot of classics that he was in. Kind of my more random favorites, I only have a few more. Like I mentioned, my advent calendar, that was one of my faves. I have been watching Friends on Netflix. I'm just in the 6th season now, and I just love it. That is the show, I think that's one of the shows, it was like probably Friends and Gilmore Girls, that I have watched the most. It's just so good. I watch it, like I set it up, I work out at home in the living room, and I set up Friends, and I sit there, and I mean, I was doing yoga to Friends today. You're not being that mindful, I suppose, but it's so fun, and it's such a great show. I just think they all just did such a good job on that show. It's a great show. And I guess my last like true favorite, I mentioned this in my New Year's resolution video, if I put that up first, is my Jane a Day. It's a 5-year journal, and I call it my thankful journal, and I just say the things I'm thankful for. So yesterday, for instance, I said I'm thankful for yoga and to be starting the year happy and feeling good. And I guess that can lead me to my things on my radar. My first thing that I would mention is So it's kind of a trend, right? Yoga, 30 days of yoga, yoga with Adriene really started that here on YouTube. That was the first kind of huge one, I guess. Maybe somebody else had done that prior. But I have seen a few of them pop up now. It's very trendy. But one of the yogis that I follow, his channel is called Yoga with Tim. And he's very good. He's really good at explaining. He's good at doing challenging yoga. Sometimes I feel like the Yoga with Adriene ones aren't quite as, they're more about mindfulness versus like moving my physical body, and sometimes I want yoga to be like part of my actual workout versus just moving my body, if that makes sense. So he kind of has more of that, I guess. It's what it seems like it will be in this challenge. I love Yoga with Adriene, don't get me wrong. So I'm actually going to do his 30 days of yoga this month. I am going to modify it a bit so that I can be like doing my normal proper workout on a daily basis, but then I can do stuff with him, so I probably won't do every entire video, but he's really good. So I would highly recommend that. I'm going to leave links to that below. My New Year's resolutions is definitely on my radar. I kind of feel like I did a bit of a reset, just like everybody does, right? So I'm just trying to be more mindful of those things that I kind of was already working on. I'm not a big fan of like revamping yourself for the new year, but being able to kind of reconnect with the things that maybe are your goals for your current life or for your, you know, in the far future life. I like to reset and kind of remind myself of my goals. And my very last thing that I'm super excited about is Series of Unfortunate Events. It's funny I mentioned it earlier, I didn't really plan that, but Series of Unfortunate Events is starting, I believe, on Friday the 13th of this month. Neil Patrick Harris as Count Olaf, and I'm just really excited to watch that. I feel like it's going to be really good, and I love those stories. I know a lot of people my age, like I'm 33, and a lot of people my age haven't read them or like think they're kid books because they kind of are more childlike than like Harry Potter or whatever, but like they're so funny. They have lots of lessons, and I just love them. I have like written down so many quotes. I guess I could have had that as one of my favorites, but Lemony Snicket is quite a wise man, and I've really enjoyed everything that he's done. So yeah, I'm super excited about that, and I think that basically wraps it up. I feel like I'm just like rambling for 13 minutes, but that's my favorites. Hopefully this sounds okay. My neighbors are being so loud. I currently have such loud neighbors, like just the way they walk is so loud. Does anybody else ever have that? Like, this isn't something that happens a lot, but recently we've got some loud foot stompers. Yeah, so I think that's everything. I hope that you have a happy day. I am going to try to do the makeup book tag. I just watched that today with Estee Lalonde and Ariel, and I can't remember Ariel's last name, but she's great. She's a great booktuber, and I'm going to try to do that. So I think this might have been like my longest video ever, so I need to wrap it up, and I will speak to you soon. Alright, goodbye.